Shalom, party people, and welcome to the 12th C. Continuing on in our discussion of human factors. Pressure. What's that look like? Well, a lot of times inside an organization, they're going to set goals or they're going to have some kind of a desired outcome for stuff that's going on. That creates pressure. Honestly, pressure can be a good thing. But a lot of times, we can put ourselves under a lot of pressure. We may have a certain set of standards that we're trying to beat. Maybe we've got a demanding boss. Maybe that boss has got to answer to some pretty high up people and they have something that they're trying to get done. Really goes south when there's poor planning. And because of the poor planning, hey, we've got to get this done right now. Sometimes things just happen. Stuff goes wrong. And hey, if this doesn't leave on time, then the company loses a ton of money. Or if we don't reach this achieved outcome, then, the investors are going to move on. The client goes somewhere else. We don't get paid unless XYZ. Sometimes that happens. So you've got goals, desired outcomes. You'd have a deadline. Sometimes it's a quality thing. Hey, we have to produce it this well, and out of 10,000 units that we make, we can only have an error rate of 0.01. So out of that 10,000, we can only have so many. What happens when there's more errors than what's allowable? Well, that's not good. We've exceeded the allowable, we have not exceeded, we have fallen short of the allowable standards that have been set on that. That happens. Well, what about when the customer or the client has something that they want? In that case, we're kind of succumb to their whims. What happens when they change their mind? Do you have provisions set up to where, hey, the original contract was this, and if you would like to renegotiate, then we can renegotiate on these terms. But this is what the original contract was, so you can either buy us out of the contract, or we can renegotiate. Well, what happens when it's coworkers that build that kind of a pressure? Hey man, I'm getting off in 2 or 3 hours, and I really don't want to be late when I'm out of here. So we need to get this done like now, so that way we've got enough cushion that's built up. Okay, yeah, that's a valid point. But if we're rushing things and that is causing us to hurt the quality of what we're producing, that's really, really gonna hurt things. Okay, well, what about on the education side of things? There's this big standardized test coming up at the end of the year. Okay, well, what does that cause the educators to do? They're going to teach to the test and not to the needs of the students. That can become a problem because that pressure has now changed the metrics for how we do things. Does that test need to be reevaluated? Maybe. Maybe that test is fine. But if you're just teaching to the test, don't be surprised when you're producing people who are no longer problem solvers, but now test takers. It has its pros and cons. What happens when we set ourselves under pressure? Man, I've got all these other things going on, and you bring that into work, or you bring that work pressure home. And now you're letting things stack. I taught a class when I was working for the prison system. And oftentimes I would tell people that crap doesn't roll downhill, it stacks. And that has to do with pressure too. That pressure doesn't just go away unless it's dealt with. Really, really starts digging into things that we can have others put pressure on us, we can put pressure on ourselves. Whether it's management, coworkers, clients, customers, you name it. And that pressure really starts building. And all that pressure's got to go somewhere. You know, you ever had a tea kettle boil over? Why does it do that? Pressure. You ever had a pot boil over where all the water starts rolling out and it just gets on the burner and pressure? That's what happens. The difference with pressure is you can either channel it or you can let it explode. Rockets and bombs are basically the same thing, except for the fact that a rocket lets the pressure out in a controlled manner in one direction. And a bomb lets out the pressure everywhere at one time. If you can focus that pressure on one area and allow it to healthily succeed in what you're trying to do, focus that, hey, we're going to get this task done. Maybe you have to make a list. Here's the priority. Take 5 seconds, a piece of paper and a pencil. Here are the things that have to get done. If these do not get done, then, you know, XYZ, whatever. List them out. What's the most important thing? If this does not get done, everything else falls apart. So we'll focus on this one first. And then you focus on the next one. And then you focus on the next one. And you let yourself get some small wins. And that pressure starts going away. Sometimes you will not meet the deadline. It happens. In that case, quality over quantity. Because if things are starting to fall apart, that's when contracts go away. If you are able to produce something that is of substance, yeah, the original order may have been for 100 widgets or whatever, but here is 75 of them, and all 75 of these are rock solid, and the other 25 are coming. We're working on them. They will be out. Here's the deadline. Open, honest, and upfront. My opinion, that's 10 times better than, oh, well, we just didn't finish. Guess we got to scrap the whole project now. Sometimes that may be the case, but 99 times out of 100, hey, we didn't meet the goal, but this is how we're going to fix it, goes over way, way better. So, how can we mitigate pressure? Number one, plan ahead. If you're planning ahead and you're planning for contingencies, that helps. You won't get everything. Stuff will still go sideways. But it helps mitigate some of the chaos. Number two, learn to say no. Hey, we've got this, and this. Sorry, original contract was this. I know you need me to stay over and work extra. I was not hired to stay over and work extra unless your contract specifically says, hey, we need you for this and this is what you signed up for. Learn to say no, because if you are not well rested, how are you supposed to give them your best when you're there? My wife and I have developed something that we're not the first people to come up with this, but this has really worked well for our family. When asked by friends to go and do stuff, if both of us are not, heck yeah, that's awesome, let's do it, then it's a heck no, we're not going to. We appreciate the offer, but we're going to pass. We have found that saying no to a lot of offers that come our way really helps control a lot of the chaos in our family. We're not rushing around trying to get 50 million different places. I watch a lot of people sign up for everything that is available to them. And that's cool. If they want to do that, go for it. But that's a lot of chaos that my wife and I choose not to go through. That makes the things that we do say yes to that much more important. And people know when we say yes to those things that we really want to be there. And not we're just showing up out of obligation. It's part of it. When my supervisors call me and say, hey, we need you to work extra. I'm sorry, this is what the contract says. Or, you know what? Feeling great, don't have anything else going on, I'd be glad to be there. Those kind of things are there. when the client is like, hey, we got to get this, and this, all of these things done. Hey, listen, do you want subpar work, or do you want the best that I can do? Because the best that I can do and subpar work are two totally different things. And if you just want me to push a button and your widget comes out, cool. But if you want me to do my absolute best, kick butt, take names, and have something that you're going to be proud of, that actually keeps you wanting to come back and do business with me, then no, I'm not going to do all of these extra things in all of that extra time, or I'm not going to succumb to that pressure and make mistakes. And those mistakes now end up costing time, money, or God forbid, say it's something that, could kill somebody. Because now we're sacrificing safety to get things done. Not gonna do it. I want everybody to go home on their 2 feet. That's just the way that it is. That external pressure is big. The internal pressure that we can add to ourselves is big. Sometimes we've got to learn to say no to ourselves. I want to do this, and this. Yeah, I want to do a lot of things too. But what's most important? Let's get those things done. And if we have time to do some other things, that's even better. A lot of it can really boil down to under-promise and over-deliver. The more you say yes to, the more things that are going to be high-stakes pressure. The less you say yes to, it's the less things that you have to juggle. And so, under promise, hey, I can do 50 widgets in 2 weeks. And then when I knock 75 out in a week, I have now over-delivered. Versus, oh yeah, I can get 100 done in 3 days. You may be scrambling to get those 100 done. It happens. Guard yourself. Be careful what you say yes to. It is okay to sign up to do less and then be able to exceed what has been there. Develop a backbone. It is okay to say no. Hey, we've got to get this done right now. Okay, I hear that you want this done right now. But if this does not get done safely, people will get hurt. If this does not get done well, then I'm delivering you a subpar product. If I sign up for that, that is cutting into a lot of other time, and now I'm not getting adequate rest time, I'm not getting adequate time with my family, I'm not getting adequate time to check boxes and get things done around the house that I'm trying to get done. Now, I could be showing up bringing a whole lot of baggage instead of showing up fresh, 85, 90, 110% ready to go. Can't avoid pressure. And under a lot of circumstances, a certain level of pressure is good. Too much pressure, things can fall apart. The question is are you going to be a rocket and focus that pressure in a productive area, or are you going to be a bomb and it's just all going to blow up? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Go do hard things.